Jimmie is the last driver to win 3 races in a row in 2007. Jimmie, you're coming off 2 wins. What do you need to do this week to keep the streak alive?
Just get on the track and kind of figure out what we need around here. Last year we had some great speed in our race cars, and really think we had an opportunity for the sweep, and unfortunately blew a tire off of turn 1 while having a dominant day, and taking ourselves out of that opportunity for a win. But I still think we came back for an awesome finish with a torn up race car. So it's a new year, new rules package, so we'll have to get to work on that today, and hopefully have what we need here. The thing that brings a lot of optimism to our team is this is Chad's favorite racetrack. He loves the challenge here, trying to figure out how to get the car to go down these long straightaways and then through 3 much different corners. So we're excited, looking forward to it.
We'll now open it up for questions. If you'll please state your name and affiliation.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Any surgeries you want to report or anything like that?
No, I'm thinking about going to the dentist. Should I let everybody know?
Watch out for the molars.
Yeah.
You had to assume you'd be in the chase even before you won these 2 races, but how has winning twice changed the preparation there as far as testing you might or might not do or that sort of thing? Can you look more ahead now than before? Yeah,
looking ahead, it does start to change things for a test plan. If it was an old testing procedure and we could select tracks just for the 48 to test at, it would definitely impact that. But as a group, we want all 4 cars in the chase, and we need to get Casey a win. So that part's still kind of out there. We're 3/4 of the way there to having a full testing plan focused solely on the chase. So hopefully we can get the 5-car win soon and let that go the rest of the way. But really, it changes your strategy at some racetracks. This would be one of them. We know fuel mileage is a big part of the finish of this race. Tire strategy also comes into play, and we can swing for the fences here, which make that a lot of fun. And hopefully I can save gas, which I really don't do a good job at.
Mike Massaro, ESPN. Jimmie, earlier this week, Joey Logano was at the Detroit Lions minicamp, and he made a comment to the effect of he felt like NASCAR is a safer sport than the NFL. Just want to get drivers' opinions on that. What do you think?
I agree with that. I think that's the case. I feel like what took place, around 2000 and on, and the changes that we've made, there's a lot of stats to show that. And then I also think from, just casual injuries, I don't even know what to really call them, but knee injuries, broken bones, things like that, we're protected by a steel race car, and it certainly helps that. We don't seem to have, concussions are certainly an aspect of our sport that exist and that we're all very sensitive to, but the amount of times we hit heads, or hit our head versus how they hit heads every snap is different and plays into that as well.
You've seen the car change over the last decade or so in terms of safety inside the cockpit. What's made the biggest difference inside that race car for you guys in terms of safety?
I'd say the seat, and the seat also would include that head surround that saves us from the basal skull fracture, which is what took 5 guys from us in that 2000 time frame. So, but the seat contains the driver. It keeps your legs in line, keeps the load going through your shoulders and not through your ribs. Broken ribs were a very popular injury years back, and it didn't take much of an impact to pop a rib or two. So I think the seat is a big portion of it, but there's really 3. Especially with the ultimate concern that we have. So seat, safer barrier, and Hans device. That for the big one. But for the casual injuries, I think the seat has a lot to do with that, and probably the safer barrier.
Thank you.
All right, and in front of Mike.
Candace Smith, Drafting the Circuits. Jimmie, Pocono was repaved last year. We talked a lot about that last season. Now you're coming back. It's a newer car, and it's the repave, and now you've got this different qualifying. So what are your plans for that? And I do have a follow-up.
Really just worried about a clean lap at this point. I think it'll be easy to get on track and find a hole, but as you're coming in, after, when someone is coming in after they've completed their lap, you've got a long distance to get around here and not a lot of room on the apron to get out of the way. So, that's probably my biggest concern going into it. I think the new asphalt will allow us to repeat lap times, and we'll be able to have a second shot at it in the first session and potentially in the second. I think in the third outing, there's not enough time on the clock. I mean, it's going to be a race off pit road just to get out there and get your lap in within the 5 minutes.
Follow-up is totally different. It's about family. This area here, we have the quarter midget racetrack, and a lot of children are involved in that. And last year I asked you if you thought about putting your daughter in a car, and I'm just wondering if that's something you'd even consider spectating.
Yeah, I definitely am entertaining quarter midgets and go-karts. She has a four-wheeler, or Genevieve has a four-wheeler. Lydia's a couple years away from all of that yet. But, in our race shop, we have a lot of our crewmen have their kids in kid carts and driving various places. So I've considered it. I've been serving it up to Shani, first of all, making sure she's okay with it. And she's semi-okay with it, and Genevieve is all about it. So hopefully this summer I'll get a chance to put her in a cart and just see how she goes. I mean, she's been very responsible on her four-wheeler. So now if I can find a pink go-kart, I think she's in. Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll go to the middle and then up front to Jim Utter.
Pocono record. Obviously, you touched on how dominant your car was last year, even before the flat tire. You still came back, I think, finished 13th in that race. Have you talked to Chad yet about what you expect from the car this week? Do you think that, I know you haven't been on track yet, but do you think that what you have this week is comparable to what you had last year?
It's just too early to tell. We have tools that tell us where the aero platform is and what the mechanical grip will be like, but it's just nothing. That stuff is helpful and they are tools, but it's not the real thing. So we're coming in with what we feel is the optimized race car, and we'll have a ton of speed and put us where we were before, but until you get out there and make some laps, you just don't know.
Jim Hutter, Charlotte Observer. You talked about Casey a few minutes ago. You're good friends with him. Even though you just registered your 2 wins, you and Dale Jr. and Jeff seem to have been fairly consistently fast and had found speed most of the season. Casey's been a little bit more kind of up and down. Do you sense some frustration on his part? And since he was so good here last August, do you feel this is a good place for him to get back on track?
Yeah, I do, and I guess there is frustration in there, and I kind of put disappointment too, because he's had a lot of solid runs going and whacked things happen. We decided to start looking at the 5 setup and morphing our car in that direction for the 600, and it turned out great for us. And I know after debriefing with him, he had an awesome car in Charlotte, and then we kind of together had a similar setup going to Dover. And I know he had another great car in Dover, and circumstances kept him from having the day he wanted to. So I give them credit for helping us get going at Charlotte and Dover, and I know their cars are fast, so it's kind of a frustration / disappointment they haven't been able to capitalize. But it's we're all working very hard together, and very close with Casey. We were just at a test session in New Hampshire, and talking in great detail about our cars and what's going on. We even considered swapping rides. Things got a little hectic in the afternoon because of some weather where it didn't work out, but we're doing everything we can to really elevate Hendrick and then also help those guys get their win.
Back to Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Couple questions, Jimmy. First one is, this is the 6th time you've gone for 3 in a row since you won 4 in a row in 07. How has that challenge evolved, changed, the difficulty, or when you even look back, are there any of those times that you think, boy, you could have had that 3rd in a row?
Man, I had no clue we were in position that many times. I don't pay attention to much, I guess. I know that we've had some great runs, and usually when we're hot, it carries from track to track. And certainly hope we can keep it rolling. This is a great place for us. And I guess one of the No, maybe it wasn't. Was it one of them in the chase against Gordon? Something in there reminds me like 08, 09.
08, you won Auto Club 2 and Richmond 2. That was before the chase.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, my brain's not working again.
All right, second question may be a little bit easier. Obviously, a lot of talk about the NBA basketball game last night, how it was, unseasonably, how it was ridiculously warm and 90 degrees, which I'm sure you'd take in the car about any time. Can you tell me about the hottest time you've had in the car, what race that was, and how what happened, why it was that way, and how you got through that race?
Yeah, there's been plenty of moments in a Cup car. The summer months, there was a race at Indy maybe 3-4 years ago, something like that was just brutally hot. Homestead seems to shock everybody when we get down there. I guess we've had some fall events, and then you get reminded that it's still summer down in Florida, and that one usually gets you. But my worst experience by far was in Grand Am car. I can't remember the year exactly, but I did the 6-hour event in July with, it wasn't Stallings, it was with Bill Riley. And Mark Goosens was my teammate. We were in the 91 car. And I think I qualified the car. We had practice, qualify, then Cup practice, and a whole bunch going on, then a 6-hour race. And I got behind on hydration and didn't keep up while I was in the car. We had an electrical problem that took out the drink system in the car. And I had to pit maybe 10 minutes before it was time because I couldn't push the brake pedal hard enough to get it stopped. And I missed the chicane on the backstretch. So I came to pit road, I got out of the car, and of course tried to get cooled down and have some fluids. But about an hour later I started cramping, and I actually went into a full body cramp and was stranded inside my motorhome, laying on the floor. I mean, I wish I had a picture of what I looked like. But I mean, I'm telling you, every muscle in my body locked up. And I could barely get to my phone, which was on the table, and I knocked it off. And then, I don't know if you've ever had a cramp, but try dialing a phone with, everything like it is. And Gordon was next door in his motorhome, and I called him, and he didn't answer. And when he didn't answer, I didn't know what I was going to do. And then shortly thereafter, he called back, and I just started yelling at him, get over here, get over here. And as he came in my bus, it took him about 2 or 3 minutes to stop laughing at me. And then he got me to the care center, and 3 IV bags later, I felt like myself again. So that was a very, very tough experience for me. And I didn't cramp in the car itself, but after it got me bad. So that was a tough one. That was Daytona, July. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come up front and then end it over here with Skip.
Woody Kane with MRN. Jimmie, with Father's Day coming up next week, I'm just curious, with you now being a son and a parent, I know your kids are a little bit young, but if it has any more special meaning to you now, kind of being in between like that?
Oh, for sure. I'm so thankful for everything my dad has done, and the man he raised me to be, the work ethic he put in me, the sacrifices he made for me growing up. He worked in construction most of the time when I was young, so if it was a rainy day, I knew he would be home from work, and I could expect him picking me up at lunch hour with our dirt bikes in the back of the truck, and we were going riding. So just a lot of fun memories, and then to have it flip and experience it and have your children look at you. And Genevieve's at an age now where she gets it. She knows it's a special day. We just went through Mother's Day and had a total blast watching her get ready for Mom and make her a poster. She's really big into art and stuff, so she'll I'm sure I'll have a poster or something on Sunday. So just enjoying it, thoroughly enjoying it.
All right,
Yep.
and last question.
Skip Clayton, ABC. Jimmie, did you ever talk to Donna McNabb after he made that remark that you weren't an athlete or race car driver? Did you ever meet him or talk to him at all about that?
Yeah, we talked on the phone shortly after, and then he came out to the Auto Club Speedway race earlier this year.
What did he say? Anything? Is he convinced that you guys are athletes? I mean, I know you could throw a ball that a receiver's feet is as good as he could.
On the phone, he was. He said that he didn't single me out, and I said, "Well, actually, you did." He said that I wasn't an athlete. Well, okay. Well, he kind of got lost in the small talk after that one. But then when he was at Auto Club, he still was very strong in his stance and believes that race car drivers are not athletes.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy, and good luck this weekend.